What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all doing great because today's video is one I've been looking forward to for quite a while. If you've been following the channel, then you already know I'm a huge fan of motorcycles, especially electric dirt bikes. The technology has improved so much over the last few years, and it feels like every month there's another interesting model entering the market. Today we're taking a look at the Yozma IN10, and I have to admit I was really excited when this package finally arrived. I've seen photos online, I've watched a few videos, but there's nothing like seeing a bike in person for the very first time. One thing I always enjoy about unboxing a new bike is that first impression. Before you even ride it, before you charge the battery, before you test the suspension or the acceleration, you get to appreciate the overall design and the attention to detail. And honestly, the first impression here is pretty impressive. The Yozma IN10 has that aggressive motocross look that instantly catches your attention. It doesn't look like a toy, and it doesn't try to imitate something cheap. It actually looks like a serious electric dirt bike with a clean and sporty design. The frame looks solid, the plastics have a nice finish, and everything seems well put together. Of course, only time will tell how it holds up after months of riding, but right out of the box, it definitely leaves a positive impression. One of the biggest reasons why electric dirt bikes have become so popular is how simple they are to own. You don't have to worry about changing engine oil, replacing spark plugs, or dealing with fuel. Instead, you charge the battery, turn it on, and you're ready to ride. That simplicity is something I really appreciate. At the same time, electric bikes offer something that's very different from traditional motorcycles. The power delivery is immediate. As soon as you twist the throttle, the bike responds instantly. There's no waiting for the engine to build RPM and no gears to shift. It's just smooth, instant acceleration. That's one of the things I'm most excited to experience with the Yozma IN10. Now, when people hear about electric dirt bikes, one of the first questions they usually ask is, can it actually replace a gas bike? Personally, I don't think that's the right question. I think electric and gas bikes are simply different experiences. Gas bikes have their own character, their own sound, and their own feeling. Electric bikes offer something completely different. They're quiet, incredibly smooth, and surprisingly powerful for their size. Instead of comparing them directly, I prefer to enjoy each one for what it is. Looking around the bike, I also noticed that the overall proportions are really nice. It's compact enough to feel playful, but it still has the appearance of a real off-road motorcycle. That's important because a lot of smaller electric bikes don't really look like motorcycles. They often end up looking more like oversized toys. The Yozma IN10 feels much closer to a proper dirt bike. Another thing that stands out is the suspension setup. Even without riding it yet, you can tell it was designed with off-road riding in mind. Whether you're riding on dirt, gravel, forest trails, or uneven terrain, good suspension makes a huge difference. Comfort is one thing, but control is even more important. The same goes for the brakes. Having good braking performance gives you confidence, especially when you're riding on loose surfaces or going downhill. As I keep looking over the bike, I find myself noticing small details that I probably wouldn't have appreciated just by looking at pictures online. That's actually one of the reasons I enjoy making unboxing videos. Photos can only tell you so much, videos show much more, and when you have the bike right in front of you, you start noticing the little things that make it feel unique. The finish, the quality of the components, the way everything fits together, those are details that really matter. Something else that makes electric dirt bikes so interesting is how accessible they've become. A few years ago, there weren't many options available. If you wanted a capable electric dirt bike, you usually had to spend a lot of money. Today, companies are offering more choices at different price points, which means more people can experience this type of riding. That's great for the entire community. The more riders get interested in electric bikes, the more competition we'll see between manufacturers, and that usually leads to better products. I'm also curious to see how this bike performs over time. A first impression is always exciting, but long-term reliability is what really matters. Can it handle regular trail riding? How well does the battery perform after months of use? As exciting as first impressions are, I always remind myself that a motorcycle should never be judged only by the way it looks. A great design is important, but the real question is how it performs once you actually start riding. That's exactly what makes me excited about this bike. Right now, everything is brand new. The tires have never touched the trails, the suspension hasn't been tested, and the battery hasn't gone through a full riding session yet. There's still a lot to discover, and that's honestly the fun part. One thing I really like about electric dirt bikes is how different the riding experience feels compared to traditional motorcycles. When you ride a gas-powered bike, you're always thinking about the clutch, shifting gears, engine, RPM, and finding the perfect power band. With an electric bike, everything feels much simpler. You twist the throttle and the power is there immediately. It's smooth, predictable, and incredibly quiet. Instead of hearing a loud engine, you actually hear the tires gripping the ground and the suspension working underneath you. That creates a completely different riding experience, especially on forest trails or open fields. Another advantage is that electric bikes let you enjoy nature in a different way. Since they're much quieter than gas bikes, you can ride without creating nearly as much noise, which makes the whole experience feel more relaxing. Of course, every bike has its strengths and its weaknesses, and I'm not expecting this one to be perfect. Every motorcycle is a compromise in one way or another. Some are built for maximum speed. Others are designed for comfort. Some focus on lightweight handling. Others prioritize long battery life or durability. That's why I never judge a motorcycle based only on specifications. Numbers on paper don't always tell the full story. The real test begins when you actually spend hours riding, learning how the bike reacts, and getting comfortable with it. That's exactly what I plan to do with the Yozma IN10. Over the next few weeks, I'll be putting it through different riding conditions to see how it performs. We'll test acceleration, we'll test climbing ability, we'll see how comfortable it feels over rough terrain. I'll also check how the suspension behaves on bumps and whether the brakes inspire confidence during more aggressive riding. Another thing I'm interested in is battery performance. Manufacturers usually provide ideal range estimates, but real-world riding is always different. Terrain, rider weight, temperature, riding style, and even tire pressure can all affect battery life. That's why I prefer real-world testing instead of simply reading numbers from a specification sheet. If you're thinking about buying an electric dirt bike yourself, hopefully these future videos will help you decide whether this model is the right choice for you. One thing I've learned over the years is that the motorcycle community is full of people who genuinely enjoy helping each other. Everyone has different experiences, different riding styles, and different opinions. That's what makes these conversations interesting. So if you already own a Yozma IN10, or if you've ridden one before, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Let me know what you like about it. Let me know what could be improved. Maybe there are upgrades worth doing. Maybe there are accessories that make the bike even better. Or maybe there are maintenance tips that every new owner should know. Feel free to share your experience in the comments because it could help someone else who's considering buying one. Another reason I enjoy making videos like this is because I can look back months or even years later and remember exactly what my first impression was. Sometimes a bike completely exceeds expectations. Sometimes you notice things later that you didn't see on day one. That's all part of the journey. Owning a motorcycle isn't just about riding. It's also about learning, maintaining it, improving it, and sharing the experience with other riders. That's something I've always enjoyed, and it's one of the reasons this channel exists. I want this channel to be more than just quick reviews. I want it to document the entire ownership experience, from the first unboxing all the way to real riding, upgrades, maintenance, and long-term reliability. So if that's something you're interested in, you're definitely in the right place. There are plenty of videos coming soon. We'll be taking this bike on trails. We'll see how it performs in different weather conditions. We'll test its top speed, acceleration, braking, and overall ride quality. I'm also planning to compare it with other electric dirt bikes in the future so we can see how it stacks up against the competition. If there's anything specific you'd like me to test, leave a comment below. Thanks for watching, thanks for all the support, and I'll see you in the next one.